Hey there, welcome to C&T Collectibles. I am C. I hope you are doing well. All right, the Major League Baseball season has wrapped up. The silly season hasn't quite begun yet. So this is a great opportunity to do some homework and figure out what we're going to do for the off season in the next year. And so this is something to do at the end of the season. Is I just start to put together my numbers here. So I like to prospect, speculate, do all that kind of fun stuff, open packs, and I understand that that's going to be a losing proposition most of the time, and that's fine. It's fun. But if I'm going to put serious money into cards, and it really depends. I mean, some people that could be thousands of dollars, and for other people it could be $100. I mean, who knows? But if you're committing a decent amount of money to cards, you want to do your due diligence and do your research. And so what I endeavor to do here at the end of the season is just go position by position and see who is on the long-term track for relevance. Hall of Fame, a little harder to predict guys that blow their head up with steroids or are just fan favorites. But if we're able to do a little bit of homework and figure out who's on that long-term Hall of Fame path, then we have a better chance of our cards holding value. At some point it becomes a little bit more of an investment, and maybe your comfort level changes a little bit here. So I've got position by position. Today we'll start off with the catchers. Catchers and pitchers, honestly, a little bit of a hot mess. Gets a little more exciting when we get into the first, second, infielders, outfielders, all that kind of stuff, granted. But we'll start off with the catchers. You can kind of see my thinking on this one. So we've got the catchers for a long-term investing, and we'll try and figure out who's maybe on that track, who maybe is undervalued, etc., etc. So for the Hall of Fame, there's 19 catchers in the Hall of Fame. So really what you're looking at here is not a lot of guys get in, maybe one per generation or something like that. And we just had a couple inducted recently, Rodriguez and Piazza, and that may put a little bit of a cap on how many guys get in going forward here. The average wins above replacement, and I use Fangraphs here. Fangraphs includes a little bit more defense, and for catchers that's actually pretty important, is around 52. And so with catchers and pitchers, you need to set aside that get to 60 by age 35 stuff here. Catchers get a little bit later start; they can play a little bit longer. So we're looking for 52 wins on average. The highest WAR belongs to Johnny Bench, the class of '89 with 74. Most hits, 2,844. Pudge, class of 17, and the most home runs, 427 from Mike Piazza, who got in 2016. Let's see who might be able to join them here. So first off, we got to recognize a couple of players that are not in that probably should get some consideration sooner or later here. So Bill Freehan, who recently passed away, was an 11-time All-Star, 5 Gold Gloves, and 2 top 5 MVPs. Played for the Tigers for 15 years and really defined the position at his time. Yadier Molina type. And this was a terrific player. I think if you compare him to a lot of the people in the Hall of Fame, he compares very favorably, and hopefully he gets some consideration. Again, he just passed away, so unfortunately any consideration would be too little, too late. But it would be a nice honor for him, and I think he is deserving. Thurman Munson, MVP, Rookie of the Year, 7-time All-Star. I'm covering up that last bullet point there, but it's a 3-time Gold Glove winner who passed away prematurely at age 32 on an off day. He took his private plane out for a spin and unfortunately ended up crashing. And so far too soon, but he was doing everything a catcher could do. I think he was the first captain of the Yankees in a long time as well. This is another elite level player that there's precedent for people that Kirby Puckett, my own Kirby Puckett, got injured and had to retire early, and he got into the Hall of Fame. So there's precedent for this kind of thing here, and I think Thurman Munson should absolutely be considered, and it's borderline criminal that he hasn't gotten more consideration to this point. Players on the rise, if you look at Will Smith, Adley Rutschman, Sean Murphy, there's plenty of young players that are exciting, but we're going to have to wait a few years and see if they can develop some sort of track here. So they're firmly in the speculation side and will not be in this video. So the players that are in this video are kind of meeting my minimum requirements, and if they're not in this video, then they're not meeting my minimum requirements. So there's other players that maybe we're thinking of, but they don't even get these minimum requirements here. So, but if there's another name that we should be looking at, please let me know. This is probably comprehensive. I'm trying, but I miss things too here. So we'll start off with Russell Martin. who currently has, he retired a couple of years ago, 2019, and by the time he retired at age 36, he had 55 wins above replacement. The average of wins above replacement at that time was 50, and we know the average for catchers in general is 52, so he satisfies that requirement of wins above replacement. You can see the chart here. He had a very nice trajectory, and then if he could have just held on more and flattened out and compiled some more stats, perhaps we could consider more strongly. As it is, he's a four-time All-Star, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, 1,400 hits, 191 home runs, 101 rated ones created. So he's a bit above average with the bat, and his defense was elite level with 306 wins above replacement on the defensive side. So that's relative to other players at the position here. So a positive number is good, and a really positive number is elite. So what I'm thinking for Russell Martin basically is this is a haul of very good. There's a bit of a logjam coming up at the catcher position, and he may be on the outside looking in. If you want his cards right now, they're being priced appropriately for that. The expectation that he's not getting in. Russell Martin 2006 tops in the raw will cost you a beer. So the market does not believe he's a Hall of Famer, and that's why we try and do this. When you're buying these cards, eventually, if they're not going to have that long-term relevance, they're going to nothing. I think of Troy Tulowitzki and some of those other players that these were the best in the game. They're absolutely on a path. And you can get their higher end cards. You can get your Fractor autographs for $5-6. So that's what happens if you're not careful. So one, stay within your budget. Two, do your homework. And I'm showing you my homework here. So Brian McCann currently at 54.5 wins. Average WAR at age 35 when he retired is 48. So he's ahead of that path, and he satisfied the 52 wins above replacement for the catcher position in general. 7-time All-Star, 6-time Silver Slugger, 1,590 hits, 282 home runs. He was a 110 weighted runs created, which was above average, and he was an elite level defender. So this is a player that I think will get some consideration. Again, there's a bit of there's a few guys that are getting in, so this may be a down the road type thing, but you can see his trajectory. I mean, this is one of the elite catchers in the game. If he could have held on for a few more years and produced, I think that would add to his legacy here. As it is, cutting it short just by a little bit with the hits. You'd love to see it closer to 1,800 hits for catchers. That would help things. But again, elite level defender and just a terrific player in his prime. So this is a player that is on the fringes. Who knows? And the market's kind of pricing it like that. Maybe even just a little bit cheap here. So his 2003 Bowman Chrome raw is going to cost you about $15 or $20. Not a lot of graded stuff out there. You can get his autographs, Bowman Chrome autographs for $20 or $30. And you want a refractor or an X-Fractor autograph if you're willing to get the raw version. You can get those around $40 or $50, and so for me that's decent speculation, and I am doing that as well. So I'm picking up a couple of those because $30 or $40 for someone who's borderline could maybe get consideration someday versus $40 for a guy that's been in the league for a year. This is the way this is the direction I'm going to go. All right, Joe Mauer currently and he retired a couple of years ago, 52.5 WAR, so he's right at that 52 number we are looking for catchers. Average wins above replacement age 35 when he retired is 48, so he was ahead of the pace here. Love to see him keep going, and half of his games were at first base, which may be a bit of a knock for him, but we'll see how that plays out. So he was an MVP, a couple of top 5 MVPs, 3 AL batting titles as a catcher, which is huge because there wasn't an AL batting leader at catcher since World War II. 6 All-Star games, 5 Silver Sluggers, 3 Gold Gloves, 2,100 hits, 143 home runs. Trust me on this one because I'm covering it up again. 123 weighted runs created, and 32 wins defensively. So he was above average defensively. He was an elite level hitter. And again, on that trajectory, he has the 8th most hits as a catcher for the Hall of Fame. Again, a lot of those hits did come as a first baseman. So if you're looking at Joe Mauer as a Hall of Famer, your only knock is half his games were as a first baseman, and he wasn't elite level at that position. But as a catcher, again, MVP, batting titles, a lot of things happened as a catcher. He certainly was the one of the best at the position while he was there, and that Hall of Fame track is there. So he is being priced as a Hall of Famer at this point. So I've talked about Joe Mauer for a while off and on, and those prices are starting to be reflected there. So the PSA 10 300, that's kind of your Hall of Fame level price for these guys here for position players. PSA 9, $50, a little bit undervalued relative to the PSA 10. Bowman Refractor Auto and a PSA 9, $400 to $500 if you're willing to do raw. You can get those for between $200 and $300. And a card that I like is the Topps Pristine, and so they are numbered. Nice background of the Twin Cities here, and here's Joe Mauer. I think it's a sharp-looking card. It's got some nice shine to it, and you can get those for about $100. And so I do like the 9s. I'd like the Topps Pristine, and if you're willing to do the raw and you're careful, those autos look pretty good. And I do believe this is a Hall of Fame player at some point here. All right, he is Manny Grandal, current player here. He's currently sitting at 38 wins. Average WAR at age 32 is 43, so he's just off the pace here. You can see he got a little bit later start, but he is tracking at this point here, so that is a good sign. Now, can he just continue to play? Just turned 33. So can he continue to play at a pretty high level over the next 4 or 5 years? Then I think we're looking at something here. He's got a couple of All-Star games, 7-7, wild sevens are wild here for hits, 172 home runs, whatever. We know that he's going to have to put in some more time here, so we would love to see him double these numbers here, at least at a minimum. So he's an elite level bat and he's an elite level defender. So again, for him, it's going to be longevity. Can he keep doing what he's doing and do it for a few more years here? So the market is skeptical of that. So his 2010 Bowman Refractor autos, you can get those raw for $20 or $30. For me, that's decent speculation. I think that his odds are maybe a little below 50-50 because he is going to have to produce at a high level at an age where you start to see some decline. But again, catchers are a little bit different here. But he has been one of the better catchers in the game over the past few years. So let's see if he can keep it going. All right, JT Realmuto, currently sitting at 23 wins above replacement, and the average wins above replacement at age 30 is 36, and so he's well off the pace here. So kind of interesting, regarded as one of the best catchers in the game, and he's had a few very good offensive seasons, but the consistency over time really hasn't been there. 3 All-Star games, Gold Glove, a couple Silver Sluggers, 874 hits, 112 home runs, 102 weighted runs created for his career, so he's right around average with 62 defensive WAR, above average, not elite. I was gonna say, just as a note to myself, I forgot to erase that part. So again, he is tracking a bit, but with a later start, his trajectory, he'll have to really kind of step it up and play for a long time. And so the card market is sensing that as well. JT Realmuto 2015 Topps Chrome update. PSA 10, $50, and so that's kind of what you're paying for a currently active player with some relevance. Once he uses that relevance, that price can probably trickle down just a bit here. So not a card personally that I am seriously interested in at this time. He could have hot streaks and might be more for selling. All right, getting down to the wire here. Buster Posey currently at 57.3 wins above replacement at age 34 when he hung it up a week ago here. So pretty amazing career here, and always fun to watch. And so average win at age 34 at his time of retirement was 47, and so he was well ahead of the curve here. I would have loved to see him put in just a few more years and pad some of those stats here, but we'll see if what he's done is enough, and I believe it is. MVP, Rookie of the Year, he had an NL batting title here, so he and Mauer were kind of the guys in the early 2010s here. 7 All-Star games, 4 Silver Sluggers, Gold Glove, wound up with 1,500 hits, which is potentially light, but he's got some of these other things going on here that could certainly help his cause, and someone's going to have to get in at some point here, and his bona fides are as good as anybody here. 158 home runs, 129 weighted runs created, which is an elite level player at the plate here, and 217 wins above replacement in defense, which is also elite. So when he played, he was an amazing player. And I think that's enough to probably get him in. Again, some people are going to have to get in here. So who better than Buster Posey? Well, there might be one better than Buster Posey. But first, let's get to his cards here. 2010 Topps in a PSA 10 is about $300. So the market believes Hall of Famer as well. PSA 9, $100. Fairly valued. You're at that 3-to-1 ratio. And so when you're looking at Joe Mauer, PSA 9 is $50. It's like, well, if he gets a little bit more talk, then we could see that come up to this level, which is kind of what you're looking for. Card I like, actually, is the 2010 Topps Rapper Redemption. The raws you can get for under $100. We've seen a few sales there recently. Towards the end of the season, these were sitting at that $150 level, so it's come down enough. So if you're able to get it for in that $100 range, now the graded ones are going to cost you $500, $600, $700, right? But these are chrome. They were an insert. you opened up a wrapper in your box and you sent it in, and so they're somewhat limited as well. But you know that chromes for the most part, they look like they're pretty good cards. They're less condition sensitive than the paper here. So for me, I'm comfortable with the raws, and I think those are a pretty good value for the likely future Hall of Famer. And we'll wrap it up with the guy that everybody knows is getting in at some point here. So when you look at Yadier, Mauer, Posey, and then you start to look at some of the other guys like Grandal and McCann. I mean, we're not going to see 5 guys getting in at a time here at the catcher position. So some of these guys might have to wait their turn because it's getting a little bit top heavy here. So, but Yadi, he's staked his claim here. He's currently sitting at 55 wins above replacement. Average wins at age 35 are at 41, and we know the average overall is 52. So he's exceeded that. His trajectory has just really been on fire here. A lot of this is coming from defense, but he's hung around long enough to compile some offensive stats here. So the trajectory looks really good. He's got a couple of top 5 MVPs, 10 All-Star games, Silver Slugger, 9 Gold Gloves. Maybe he put up that's of a couple weeks ago. Did he put up another one? Because like the Cardinals got like all the Gold Gloves this year, 4 Platinum Gloves. So he's defensively he's the best catcher in the game here. He does have over 2,000 hits. Again, he's been around long enough to compile those stats that's not going to be an issue for him. 170 home runs, 98 weighted runs created. Again, below average bat. That defense, you're just defining the position defensively for a generation, and that's a good thing. That's going to get it done here. So again, on that track, looks pretty amazing. And his cards, they reflect that. Again, this is no surprise here. So his Topps 2003 Topps raw is going to cost you about $30 or $50. PSA 9 is going to cost you in that $100-$150 area, and a PSA 10 is going to be $300 plus. So I've seen sales upwards of that $400 to $500 area here. So they're pricing him. He's priced as a Hall of Famer. He probably is a Hall of Famer, and so you're gonna have to likely chase at this point if this is a card that you want. So all right, there's the catchers. We will get into some fun stuff here with the infielders and outfielders. I'm not sure I'll do pitchers. There's a lot of wild cards there, and it's pretty messy here, but we know the usual suspects on that one, but so much changes on that. So appreciate you watching here, and we'll hit up the first baseman here in the very near future. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.